Today, President Trump pitching his economic message to voters in Nevada after stopping in California, where gas is the highest in the nation. The president calling out its far-left leaders while telling Fox News relief at the pump is on the way.
You had oil coming down to $75 a barrel. It was in the high 60s before the war started, yet gas is still 30% higher than it was. $6.27 here in California I paid yesterday.
Well, this is a little different thing because they charge taxes on gas every time it goes down. They take taxes. I mean, they've done a terrible job in California, but I think we're going to have it coming down. We're going to be down into the 3s and maybe the 2s pretty soon per gallon.
California Post opinion editor Joel Pollak joins us now. Great to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us. You know, President Trump makes a very good point. You know, every time I listen to California politicians talk about affordability or complain about gas prices, I'm like, dudes, sit down. You have no room to talk. If you actually cared about affordability for your voters, you would cut your own tax and save them about $2 a gallon.
Well, it's not just the taxes, and we had the tax rise at the beginning of July, and Gavin Newsom and the Democrats have declined every time to do anything about that. It's not just the taxes, it's also the unique blend of fuel that California requires, and it's the assault on fossil fuels. We have refineries shutting down in California because Gavin Newsom wants to drive them out of the state for his green agenda, and whenever that happens, you don't have the capacity to generate your own fuel. California is also uniquely exposed to the Iran war because California now imports its fuel from the Middle East. And so the Strait of Hormuz closing or being threatened affects gas prices in California in a way it doesn't affect gas prices in other parts of the country because of California's insane policies. The gas prices are high in California because of what California is doing to itself, not anything happening in the rest of the country.
Yeah, it is interesting. California obviously is one of the most energy-rich states and largest states, the largest state, so it would absolutely be able to probably supply most of its own energy needs. I want to switch gears and ask you about this new billionaire wealth tax that obviously Democrats in your state have decided to run off with Bernie Sanders on, even though it's too wacky for even Gavin Newsom. So tell us about this tax. It's going to be on the ballot in November. Tell us about the tax and tell us what you think is probably going to happen as a result of it.
Well, the billionaire tax is a wealth tax. It would be the first ever wealth tax in the United States. It's not even clear it's constitutional. It was put on the ballot by the SEIU, United Healthcare Workers West, which is a very left-wing union that likes to put provocative things on the ballot, and they would benefit from this tax directly because the money would be spent on health care, which means hiring more union workers. Other unions are opposing it because they understand that when you drive investors out of the state of California, they're not creating the jobs, including the union jobs, that you need for your economy to survive. But the state's Democrats decided to endorse this billionaire tax, and they ignored the fact that Gavin Newsom theoretically opposes it. Javier Becerra, who's running to replace Newsom, also theoretically opposes it, but they're not fighting very hard because they know they're opposing their party's base if they do. You know, in a normal election year, if the Republican incumbent, if Trump were doing so badly, if the gas prices were a real problem, it would be enough to say, you know what, let's just get back to normal. But that's not what Democrats are doing. They're saying, let's throw out the entire system. Let's have a revolution. Let's seize wealth. It's crazy. It does offer Republicans an opportunity, but it also warns us about the kind of society we're at risk of becoming. California could destroy the foundations of its own prosperity if it takes away the prospect of success.
So what do you think is going to happen? I know that making any predictions, political predictions in this environment is only a fool would do that, which is why you and I are in the business of doing it. How do you think the wealth tax goes in November?
My gut tells me it passes because the polls are all showing that many voters in California support the billionaire tax. There are two caveats. One is that the courts might throw it out anyway on constitutional grounds. We don't have anything in our Constitution that allows a wealth seizure. The other is that there are other provisions on the ballot that would counteract the billionaire tax. So people might vote for those as well. It's going to be a big mess.
Right. Joel Pollak, as always, really appreciate it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.